Hi, Lash fam. Okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit longer and get a little bit more people on the live before we jump into it. But you guys should be able to talk to me on here. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Hi, Erin. I'm excited about today's live. I haven't really talked about my story and where lashing has brought me, so I'm excited to show you guys and talk to you guys about that. Obviously, you guys see a little bit, but I want to get into like the depth of it and how to become and how to get where I've gotten and how everyone can do these things that I've done, and it doesn't take anyone special. So I'm gonna make sure you guys can see me okay. If you can, let me know. It does look a little weird angled. Back up a little bit. I personally haven't worked with any pre-made fans. I am, however, thinking about carrying them for all of you guys that love pre-made fans. You guys know I'm all about work smarter, not harder, lash smarter, not harder. So, I have been testing some pre-mades and I will hopefully have those available soon for you guys. All right, so we're gonna wait probably 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna jump into this live stream and I'm so excited for you guys to hear about. Thank you guys for joining. I know it's in the middle of the day. I have a client coming at 1, so I was like, or at 2, so I'm like, I gotta get this live stream in. And I'll make it short. It'll probably be about 20-25 minutes. That way you guys aren't here all day. But I appreciate everyone who's jumped on so far. All right, what time is it? Let's see. Oh, hold on, y'all. So I am going to start this at 1 o'clock. So as soon as it hits 1, we will jump in. If you guys want to ask me some questions, go ahead. If you guys have any business inquiries you guys want to talk to me about, you can email me at info@shoplashesbykins.com. You can also text the business number, which is 951-324-5040. So you guys can always text that, call that number. I try and respond as fast as possible. So definitely. Okay, how was I successful as a home-based lash artist? We are going to talk about that. We're going to talk about my journey, how I started, how I got where I am, lashing from home, lashing with kids, lashing, you know, all of those things. We are going to go over all that. I just want to wait just a little bit longer, get some more people on here. And this live will save, so you guys can always come back to it too. How I got my clients, all that good stuff we're gonna talk about. But first and foremost, I wanna start off by saying that lashing was something that I never ever thought about doing. It was not something that I even dreamed about doing. I had no idea. What I did know was that I didn't want to, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I knew that I didn't want to work for someone forever. I knew that I didn't want to do a 9 to 5. I knew that I didn't want to have to be away from my kids. I knew I didn't want to have to answer to people every day and show up and do a job I hated. I didn't want that. And that was something I knew from day one. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. So for me, I was kind of floating through life, waiting for it to come. And naturally, I guess it did come. And when I was presented lashing, I at first didn't have any interest in it. Actually, the girl that taught me lashing was offering me to take her course. And at the time I was a bartender and I had a brand new baby and I was away from her at nights and I didn't like that. But when she presented it to me, I didn't necessarily, you know, go right after it because I didn't know anything about lashing and I didn't really think there was any money in it. And naive enough, that's what a lot of people think. Well, I took the course and I fell in love with lashing. I loved it. It was so much fun. I thrive doing it. It was just something different. I'm very tedious. I'm a perfectionist. So lashing for me was something that I enjoyed doing. Still going into it, I didn't think that it would become what it has today, and I'm so grateful. God is so good, because I have always prayed for something like this, but didn't necessarily ever think it would be lashing. So fast forward, took the course, started working on friends and family. Word spread. At the time, I lived in a small town in Georgia. Word spread, and I started doing a lot of people's lashes in Georgia, and I loved it. And I actually, at the time, was thinking about moving back to California. I quit my job at bartending and just did lashing there. And then eventually moved back to California. And at the time, I wasn't lashing. I stopped lashing for about 6 to 8 months. And then one day was like, okay, I need to start working again. And I didn't want to go back to like a 9 to 5 or a bartending job. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stay home with my daughter. I wanted to be around her. And so I started lashing. Now this is where I was like, holy crap, I don't have a clientele. How am I going to build this clientele? So what I did was I started doing mobile. And mobile was something that I thought for me was, one, people like to lash or like to get things done in the comfort of their home. And two, I, at the time, was living with people. And so I was like, well, I can't have people come here to get lashes. So my only other option is to lash them at their house. So for me, that was the only option. I didn't want to work in a salon because I didn't have a clientele at the time, and I didn't want to pay rent and not have the money to back up that. So I was like, okay, I'm going mobile. I'm going to do mobile for a little bit, see how it goes. I did mobile. I went to people's houses, and even though it was rough and it was hard and it just takes a lot of extra time, it built my clientele. I would also do free lashes once a month. And I kind of built that clientele and that following. I would do a giveaway every month, a free set of lashes. They had to tag 3 people. They had to post it on their story. Now this brought traffic into my page. This brought people to see my work, and it organically grew. So I knew that doing the free sets every month were great. And another great thing about doing free sets is that you also keep that client. So even though you do one free set, they're more likely to come back for those fills every 2 weeks. So you give one away and then you get a free set. Or you give a free set and then you get back that money doing your fills every time you see them. So it was very easy for me to give those free sets away, not feel like I was losing anything. Someone asked about the humidity in the room in different people's houses. That was something I struggled with for a while because I was like, oh my gosh, my glue, and that's when I discovered Glue Aid from Lashbox LA, and I still rave about this product. It is an amazing product if you lash from home or if you are a mobile artist. I highly, highly recommend that you get Glue Aid from Lashbox LA. It definitely took any problems I had away with that humidity, and it was a huge relief of stress off of me being able to not have to worry about that anymore. So definitely get that. It'll change your lash game. It will help you tremendously. So anyways, I forgot where I was, lashing from. Okay, so I did the mobile thing, moved out, got my own place, and that's when I decided that I would no longer do mobile. My clientele was built. I had a good, solid clientele at the time, and then I just started having them come to my house. After that, it was just organic, and I would do a refer a friend program. I would do, bring a friend and get something off your set, and they'll get something off their set. And then I would post constantly, and I highly, highly recommend that you guys continue to post on your Instagram and be annoying almost. You want to post constantly, always writing something on there. Be active on your story, be active on your feed, do giveaways, do things like that, because people truly, once they see you a lot and they see that you're constantly working and you're going for it, you tend to get more of a following that way. And honestly, word of mouth is huge. I tell all my trainees, when you lash, it's important. And I know that in the industry that time is a huge thing and they want you to lash in a certain amount of time. For me, that's unrealistic for my trainees and for myself. I don't put that pressure on them and I don't put that pressure on myself. And I think it really shows in people's work how much time you put into that set. And just remember that your clientele is your walking advertisement. So if you're not doing your 100% great work, one, you're not going to feel good about that. Two, you're going to be discouraged in yourself because you know you can do better. And three, you know that these clients are walking around with work that is not your best work. So I encourage you guys to not worry about time and to focus on just doing great work. It truly, truly shows. And taking good pictures. Pictures are huge. People want to see your work on your Instagram. So just stay consistent with that. And yeah, so after my clientele got built, and I was working with a few brands. Bella Lash was one of them, which also helped my following a lot. I was on their talent team. They would promote me, I would promote them, and it just was a good little fit. So I did that for about a year, and then kind of branched off onto my own stuff. I knew, and this is kind of where I started training. And I think a lot of people ask me, when do you feel comfortable in training? When should you start training? Training is something that you can kind of play in. Once you feel comfortable in your own work, once you feel comfortable in yourself, I encourage everyone to train. It's a great, great door that opens with lashing. Start off little, start off with someone train them in classic lashing. Get comfortable with that. If you're only a classic lash artist and you want to, learn volume, and you want to get into training, I suggest you learn everything first before starting to train. That's very important. You want, to be reputable and all that good stuff. So I started training about a year that I moved back to California. So I moved here, lashed for about a year, and then I started training. And I've been training ever since, and that opened a huge door for me financially, and it can again for you guys. But remember, when you are training, it is so important that you know what you're talking about. It's important that you train quality. Don't just train for the money. That's not what we're doing here. We want to be training to educate people. So that's very important. So I don't think that anyone should train. I think that it should be someone who is done lashing for a while, is, reputable in their fields and known a little bit. So things like that. But I started training, and I had already been kind of dabbling with the lash line a little bit. I knew that I had been working with a couple products that just were always sold out or weren't perfect how I wanted them to be. And I was like, oh, if there was just a product like this that I could work with all the time that was never sold out, that's what I need. And so I started, working with a manufacturer, and I just had been working on this for about a year, testing product. Nothing was how I wanted it. And I knew in my head that I wanted to start a lash line. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know if I would ever do it. People would tell me I was crazy, that it's just not realistic. There's too many other lash companies out there. But I knew in my head, I knew I wanted to do it. And when I set my mind on something, I fully go full force in it. So I just kept testing product for about a year, and finally found my my Russian volume, my 0.5s, fell in love with them, and those were my first product that I launched. And at the time I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do this. What if no one buys them? What if they suck? I knew they didn't suck because I love them, but I was very nervous to do it. So if anyone out there is thinking about launching a product, launching a lash line, honestly, if you are thinking about doing anything that takes a step somewhere that you've never been, I suggest you do it, because you never know what's on the other side of that door. And if it's being presented to you, it's heavy on your heart, if you have passion about it, then you have something there that could potentially make you a lot of money and could make you very successful. For me, lashing was a stepping stone in my journey. And I would have never known that taking that lash course would open these doors for me. And so when I hear people say, I'm thinking about giving up, or I'm discouraged, that truly saddens me, because lashing for me opened a ton of doors that I would have never ever thought. So that is why I'm here, to encourage you guys to keep going, to keep chasing your dream, to take those steps of faith, to just shoot for the stars, because truly anything is possible. And if you're passionate about it, go for it. I have people tell me that they've been, what's the word? They've been inspired to, start a YouTube channel because of me, or they've been inspired to, launch a lash line because of me. And that is truly what I'm here for, because I think that everyone should live their dream, should just go for it, full force. So I 100% knew in my journey that this is for me. I know that lashing's for me. So I started my lash line and didn't know how it was going to end. I took $1,200 out and I invested that into lashing. And each time the lash line sold out. For about 3 months straight, the lash line sold out. And at the time, I didn't have enough money to buy, a ton of inventory. And I also didn't want to buy a ton of inventory because I didn't know how it would sell. So I bought what I thought was enough, which sold out right away. Took that money I made from that, put it back into the business, and that sold out right away. And I did that 3 times. Eventually I made enough money to buy enough inventory, which is now where we're at. Thank you guys. I love you guys. So thankful for your love for the lash line, for your love for me. You're so loyal, my lash family, and I love you guys. So since then, now I no longer am going to be lashing. It will be my last month of lashing. So for me, lashing, like I said, was just a stepping stone to other doors that have opened. So now that I am established and successful, I can say, in lashing, I will be focusing on training and focusing on my lash line, which I want to grow a lot bigger. So just from me sharing this story, it was for you guys to see that I was nothing special. I am just like you guys, and I started off just like you guys, and I struggled so much with lashing, and that's why I try to share a lot with you guys, because I feel like, there's a lot of people who don't like to share those things. There's successful lash artists who like to stay quiet, who, charge you for those things. And it's important for me to share this with all of my lash fam, because I think that there's a lot of people who struggle and look at people that are successful, or look at people who are doing, better in their journey, or in different stages in their journey, and they get discouraged. So one thing that I always did was I wouldn't even look at other people, other great lash artists. For me, looking at that would almost discourage me when I was in the beginning of my journey. And so I made it a point not to look at those lash artists, not to look at those sets, because it would discourage me. And any time I did look at them was for motivation, was for inspiration to, do something different, to be different. And during my journey, I've learned so much, and you guys have taught me so much, and that's why now I'm here. And YouTube is huge for me, because I feel like it's a platform that I'm able to share with you guys a lot that maybe you don't know, or maybe they don't teach you in trainings, because I can tell you from experience that I learned so much in the real world of lashing versus in training. They don't tell you the struggles. They don't tell you, what you're going to run into. They just tell you how to lash and what not to do and what to do, but they don't actually tell you everything else that comes along with it. So now that I'm successful, I just want to give back to you guys. And I mean, lashing gave me financial freedom that I want every one of you guys to experience. And it has also, given me friendships that I would have never had I not been here. And it's given me freedom to be able to be home with my daughter. It's given me freedom to be able to, make my own schedule and not have to live a 9-to-5, and be able to go do things when I want to do things. And that's what we're here for. And that's why I'm here to show you guys that everything is possible. To stick to your dreams and to just shoot for the stars, because you never know. So don't give up. I want you guys to ask me any questions. I know there has been some questions, and they keep going. Oh, there they are. Okay. Okay, so yes, so this was just a little video just to show you guys with my success story. I will be doing a volume set here this week. I'm gonna film it with my 0.3, so you will get some more lashing videos, but I just wanted to come on here, share my success story, hopefully inspire some of you guys to keep going, to not give up, and just to keep shooting for the stars. That is truly why I'm here with you guys. You know, and I just bought a brand new Range Rover. If you guys haven't seen it, I don't like to post it. I don't like to, like, you know, share stuff like that, but it is something that Lashing has been able to give me and provide for me and my family. And it's also cool to be able to be, you know, 25 and to purchase a Range Rover and to be successful and feel good about yourself, and just, you know, just to know that you guys can also do these things that I'm doing. And Lashing is what truly has opened these doors for me. It has been nothing else. I haven't done anything else, only that. Erin, you are asking if you have to be a licensed esthetician to become a trainer. You need to, I don't believe so, but check with your state. Don't give up. Just keep going. Take the extra step of faith. There was so many times where I was like, oh my God, no, I can't do this. Like, there's just no way I can launch a lash line, or there's no way I can start training, or people are gonna think I'm crazy. Like, who am I? Who am I to just start doing stuff like that? And I can tell you right now, had I not done it, I would always think, what if I did that? What if I would have launched that lash line? What if I would have started training? You know, what if? And I don't like to live with what ifs. I like to live knowing that I've done everything that my heart's wanted to do. So that's something that hopefully encourages you guys to keep going. And yes, lashing is hard. Yes, being successful is hard, but anything that is, you know, anything that's good in life is going to be hard. Anything that, you know, causes you pain, or, you know, causes you to grow, is going to be hard. So just keep going. I'm going to read some of these comments, and then I'm going to jump off the live. Thank you guys for all your love. Everyone's saying they're so proud and all these good things. Okay. Let me see. How long did it take me to get volume down? Honestly, probably, even to this day, I don't think I'm a great lash artist. I still feel like I have a lot of growth to go, but it probably took me a solid year before I was like, okay, like, I feel like I'm good at volume lashing. I don't think I'm great, but I'm good. And I felt like, you know, I could do it, and it was how I felt towards classic lashing, because classic lashing for me is just boom, boom, boom. So when about a year in, I felt like, okay, I can definitely do a volume set and not be stressed and not be like, oh my God, what am I doing? So probably about a year. Also, someone asked me about trainings. Am I going to Miami? Yes, I am coming to Miami. I am coming to every major city. I will be in LA this October. I will be announcing the exact dates here pretty soon, but I will touch down in LA. So if anyone here is in LA and wants to take the volume class, send me a DM. I will give you all the info on it. It will be a big class, or not a big class, but it'll be like a big thing for me. And I like to keep my classes a little smaller, like 10 max, because I like it to be very intimate still. I like you guys to learn, and I don't want it to be too overwhelming. I think that's better. Where you guys, there's just too many people. So LA this October, and then I think I'm gonna go to, after that, I'm gonna go to San Francisco, and then I'm gonna go out to San Francisco, and then I'm gonna go to Las Vegas. How long did it take me to get a good clientele? If you're struggling with clientele, I suggest that you do some giveaways, get your card, make some cards, get your cards out there, do stuff like that. It took me probably about, 5 to 6 months to get a good clientele. And that is something that clientele, you know, building your clientele is hard, but word of mouth is huge. So keep lashing, have people talk about it, have people post about it, do a refer a friend, have your clients that you do a set on, you know, take a card, have them bring a friend, they get a discount, things like that. Okay, so lash injuries, I don't know what you mean by that, but if you mean like, you know, your back hurting or your wrist or things like that, I suggest you do some yoga. Yoga is great for your body. Two, I suggest you invest in good chairs for you to sit on every day. Good recliner. I don't lash on a recliner. I actually lash on a lash bed. It's like a massage table. It's what I've lashed on for years. And it's just what I'm comfortable with, but definitely try out different chairs. Excuse me. And different, you know, you want to exercise, you want to stretch, things like that. Lashing can be very, very, very hard on your body. So definitely invest in keeping yourself comfortable. Okay, let me see. Yes, one-to-one training classes are ideal. When I touch down in major cities, I'm not able to do one-on-ones. It's just not realistic to travel outside and just do one-on-ones. I do have someone come with me, so it's 2 people, 10 people max. Usually it's about 8, and so it's a great class. Okay, how long is my retention? People who are having retention issues, I want you to check a few things. Check your glue, check your environment, your humidity, I want you to check your primer. Make sure, ladies, that you are buying reputable brands, you are buying good product. Don't go on Amazon. You know, don't go to these brands that you don't know anything about. Do your research. Get a good primer, get a good sealant, get a good glue. You also want to make sure your lashes, the lashes that are using, are good quality. If you buy cheap plastic lashes, those aren't going to work for you. Everything works in a system. So if anything is off balance, it's going to throw off your entire set. Also, this is something that I talk about in my trainings. You need to cover aftercare with your clients. It is a huge, huge, huge thing. If there are retention issues with certain clients and not other clients, then you need to talk to that client, because most of the time the retention issue may lie in what your client is doing and not aware of what they're doing that is causing that retention. So definitely talk to your clients and get a good shampoo for your clients. Prolong Lash Cleaner is great. You guys can get it on our website. It is specifically designed for lashing. For eyelashes, and it's something that you should retail to your clients. So you do make money off of your purchase. You make your money back and you actually make some money. So Prolong Lash Cleaner is great. Can you use a glue ring with my glue? Yes, glue ring's fine, jade stone's fine, both are fine. What's great about my glue is actually I've been using it for a little bit now, and I've been testing it for a little bit now, and it's amazing. The retention is great. As you guys know, I was using Dark Matter previously, and Dark Matter is a great glue. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I loved it. But for me, there were a little bit too much of restrictions with the glue, and I did get a lot of feedback that was not as positive as I was hoping for the glue. But still a great glue. It works great for some people, works not so great for other people. Preference. This glue that I'm using now, my glue, the Luminous Bond, the retention's great, and I personally love it, and I'm gonna send out some samples to people who have already DM'd me, so thank you. You guys will get those glue. I want to hear your feedback, your true feedback on the glue. You guys know I only sell products, only use products that I would recommend, that I trust, and things like that. So the glue is great. There's no restrictions with it. You can use any products with it. I do recommend using like a glue aid with it if you have humidity issues, things like that. Do I use flat lashes? I do a lot of volume and not really classic, so I do use it when I do a hybrid, but not just not every day. Okay, I'm having trouble with mapping and knowing which type of lash to use without having to place. Okay, check out our mapping video on YouTube. That will help you a lot. Okay, I'm gonna answer just a few more questions, guys, and then I'm gonna jump off because I have a client here in a little bit. What is a good sealant? Actually, Ruthie Bell has a great sealant. You can get that from her website. Bella Lash has a good sealant, and so does Lashbox LA. Just trying to read these. I will come to Houston. I will come to Houston, Miami, Chicago, New York. We did Atlanta. That was such a good class, so much fun. So yes, I will be coming. How many clients do you think a tech should take per day before burnout? I hear techs take, 8 clients a day or 10 clients a day, which to me is outrageous. I couldn't even imagine. I take 3 max. And even that for me is a lot because I take my time and I like to have about 3 hours a piece with each client. So I think you should take 3 to 4 and just do your best on those clients rather than taking, 10 a day and just going through them super quick, because you can't do your best work in that amount of time. There's just no way. Can we get a talk through volume set along with mapping to follow along? Yes, absolutely. On my 0.3, I will do a walkthrough. Volume, I will show the map on it, all that good stuff. Yes, absolutely. Everyone says they're going to keep going. That makes me so happy. I'm glad this video inspired you guys, helped you guys, and just keeping you guys going. I know there's a lot of people who lash on the side or lash, and have another job, or that think about quitting their day job and doing lashing full time, and that's so terrifying to think about. I highly recommend and encourage you guys to take that leap of faith, to just jump and do it, because the possibilities that there are with lashing won't come close to the possibilities of your 9 to 5. You have an opportunity to have financial freedom. You have the opportunity to make as much money as you want to make. You have the opportunity to make your own schedule, to not have to answer to anybody, to, live your best life. And to have a 9 to 5, that is just something that's holding you back. And if you're even considering quitting your 9 to 5 and it's on your heart, then do it, because we only have one life, you guys. And nothing's promised. Tomorrow isn't promised. But to be able to lay your head down at night and say, I am living my dream. I am doing something that's uncomfortable, but you never know. So wouldn't you rather lay your head down at night knowing that you're going for something than lay your head down at night and just think, what if? So I encourage you guys to quit your day job and to go for it, and just to trust in God that He's going to put you exactly where you need to be. Please go over taping the extension back. I tried this and the tape got stuck to the lash extension. Okay, so make sure you guys, when you're detacking or when you're using tape, to detack that tape. What detacking means is you clean your hands and just put the strip of tape here and rip it off about 2 or 3 times. That detacks it. So when you put that back onto the lashes, it no longer will rip off the lashes you had already put off. That is very important. Make sure you guys detack. Did I charge regular price for mobile or more? What I did was, in my area, like where I lived, I charged just normal. But if you wanted me to come and you lived, out of the area, I would charge a travel fee. So I do definitely recommend you guys charging a travel fee. Dominique, yes, you got me. The pre-mades are not for me, they are for y'all. I get a lot of requests for pre-made fans, me providing pre-made fans. I personally don't use them, but if you guys use them and like them, then I'm all for it. So yes, those pre-made fans would be for you guys. I'm reading your guys' comments on here, trying to respond to some of you guys before I jump off. So that's what I'm doing, if anybody's confused. How do I get my clients? We went over that. All right. How am I successful at a home-based lash business? So this is something that people think isn't, possible, because being home-based, they think that they can't charge as much because they're not in a salon environment. First things first, people will pay you if you are great, okay? People care about greatness, they care about quality, they care about things like that. If you work in a lash salon and you are giving 10% versus working at home and giving them your 100%, who are they more likely to go to? So when you guys suggest that, you know, you can't be successful at home because you're in your home, that's not the case. People will come, and actually lashing from home is actually very common. I know that a lot of people lash from home. Someone said something about strangers, and I'm glad you said that. I would suggest doing a referral base. So, you know, you don't take anybody you don't know. You have your clients and you only take referrals. So if you have someone that comes in, you know them, they refer someone over to you. I would suggest something like that. That way they're not just complete strangers. They are, you know, known from someone that you know. I do suggest that. Working from home, you are opening your home to other people that maybe you don't know, and that is a little scary. I do suggest having, you know, if you have your husband, have him be home, and you can always check someone out too before. Don't be afraid to say no to random people. You know, your safety is always first, so definitely be aware of that. Have I ever had a client dislike their lashes? I have not, but if you do ever have that, you know, you always got to make it right. So have them come back in, you know, change it, talk about it, find out what's wrong, and then offer them something else you can help them with. Definitely be careful about allowing people into your house you don't. Okay, do I have any tips on creating a good policy or waiver? Well, the thing about waivers and policies, policies are one thing because that's, you know, that's your policy. So I suggest doing a policy, sending that to your clients beforehand, before even taking them, so that they know A, B, C, you know, what you require as a tech. And that way there is no what ifs during your guys' life, or during your guys' you know, relationship as being a lash artist. So one, you guys should always require a deposit, and I say this a lot because I think people don't do it because they're scared to ask people for that deposit. They're scared it'll, you know, push them away or not want to do it. I require a $25 deposit. That deposit goes towards their total, which is great because they're not losing that 25, but if they don't show up, it's non-refundable. So it gives people an incentive not to show up. So definitely have something like that in place. Also have a retention, or, you know, I tell my clients, you have 48 hours. Within that 48 hours, if something is wrong with your lashes, call me and I'll fix it. If you call me, you know, 4 days later, 5 days later, and telling me you have a ton of fallout, then I'm going to charge you. Have things like this in place so that there's no confusion. Did you always have a lash bed starting out? When you were mobile, what did you lash on, and how did you go about that? And do you use a specific app for your Instapics? Yes, I always had my little lash table here. I would take this and my light, and I had a kit that I would take everywhere with me when I lashed mobile. As far as Instagram, what did you ask me? Sorry. No, I just take pictures from my iPhone, actually. I make sure I have good lighting, and I make sure I get pretty close to the lashes, and I just post that. And I do not edit my photos. A lot of you guys ask, what do I edit my photos on? I don't edit my photos. I do, however, use Facetune and kind of blur out the background just to focus more on the eye. And I might add a little brightness to it. That's about it. Someone asked about Square payment. I do not recommend using Square, you guys. They take hidden fees. And at the end of the year, if you don't make a certain amount of money, they will not show that to the IRS. So if you are looking to show your income, I suggest you don't use Square and kind of revert to either PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, or just straight cash, because Square is kind of sketchy nowadays. And I mean, a lot of people use, you know, Venmo, Cash App, things like that. So to require to, you know, offer those things would be good for your clientele. Also for you, I don't recommend Square. What's up, Hank? All right, let's see. All right, I'm gonna answer 2 more questions, then I'm really leaving because I have a client. Okay, I think I answered a lot of them. Apple Pay is good too. All right, Lash fam, I think we're good. If I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry. There's so many. I don't want to keep answering the same ones. Oh, someone asked, where did I buy my ring light? And Glamcore, a lot of people use Glamcore, but I've heard a lot of, iffy things about it, iffy reviews. I bought my ring light off of Amazon. It's like 80, 90 bucks. I love it. It's great. There's a smaller one and there's a bigger one. I would suggest getting the bigger one. I do have the smaller one, but the bigger one is better, covers a lot more area, and it's a great light. And that's what I take my pictures on, if you guys want to know. All right. All right, y'all. I hope this video was informational. I hope you guys were inspired a little bit. DM me if you guys have any questions in regard to my story, how I got where I am. This video will also be uploaded so you guys can refer back to it or share it if you guys want to show someone, just someone else's story. And you guys can always DM me if you have any, if you're ever discouraged or you need like a little pep talk, things like that. If you're interested in any trainings, DM me. Again, I'm doing my touchdown in every major city here pretty soon. So be on the lookout for those. As far as the lash line, guys, I'm restocking the 0.3 mixed trays. You guys have been asking. I know. They're coming about 2 more weeks, 2.5 weeks. Those will be ready. Things like that. I think, yeah, I recommend, guys, if you are just starting out lashing, last thing before I go, if you're just starting lashing and you're stressing, about your clientele, just remember about the first 10 people you work on is practice. You want to practice on as much people as possible before jumping out and kind of just charging. So I would suggest get 10 people. 10 people that you can practice on. And remember, you're going to see those 10 people come back from fills. That is our goal. And I highly suggest that you guys pre-book all your clients before they leave. This has been a game changer for me. It was something that I didn't do in the beginning because I was too scared to ask, like, do you guys want to come back? Do it before they leave. Ask them, all right, let's book a 2-week fill. My schedule gets busy. I want to make sure I can get you in, things like that. This will keep your clientele consistent and consistently coming in. So definitely do a pre-book before they go. That is something that was huge for me in my success in keeping my clientele happy, things like that. I also do suggest for like holidays, doing like a little cute giveaway for them. Just fun stuff to try and keep your clientele happy. Okay, that's it. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Share the story. Follow us on Instagram. You guys can keep up with all the stuff going on. I love you.